Aloha folks, welcome back to Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour. We're back at the rainy day bar. Yeah, it's raining in Southern California, and that's why we are behind the Vintage Whitco bar instead of our normal set over there. I just want to say I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode where we talked about Trader Vic's shingle stain, but then at the end there was a whole big long feature about the Don the Beachcomber Sam's Seafood swordfish sign that was above the building and how it's being preserved. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. I found the end to be a bit emotional, so I hope you were okay with that. You know, we can do that with each other, right? Yeah, weird. I've always said that I'm not some kind of rum genius or a phenomenal bartender or whatever. I've always said that I'm basically a talk show host. I'm good at tiki cocktails because I stay true to the recipes, the correct rums, fresh squeeze ingredients, but I do have a friend who is a genius with tropical cocktails, especially those from the Mai Kai. The Mai Kai was opened in 1956 and continues to be the best tiki experience in the world. And I mean the best tiki bar, the best tiki restaurant, the best Polynesian floor show, the decor, everything is perfect. Mariano Liquidini was the bartender there in 1956. He came from Don the Beachcomber, so a lot of the cocktails from Don the Beachcomber traveled with him to Florida. And then he did his own cocktails and his own versions of them. And they're still secret. But there's one guy I know who has been diligently deciphering those cocktails, and tonight we're gonna do one of my absolute favorite cocktails in the world, the Black Magic. Mr. Hurricane Hayward.
Kole Maluna.
How you doing?
Very good, very good. It seems I got a head start on you.
Looks like it. Man, at the beginning of this whole thing, we talked about you coming on the show and doing one of these incredible cocktails that you have deciphered, and I didn't think it would be under these circumstances.
Well, we're still under circumstances that we've been under for 8-10 months, but I know what you're talking about. We'll get to that later.
Well then, why don't we start with the cocktail?
I'd love to be there in person, obviously, but...
Why don't you tell me how long you've been working on these Mai Kai recipes, and what's this passion that you have for the Mai Kai?
The recipes have been probably under development as long as I've been going to the Mai Kai, which is more than a decade. When I started the blog, the atomicgrog.com, in 2011, I was trying to figure out what to focus on. You know, I wanted to cover tiki culture, I wanted to cover cocktails. I was involved in the hukilau, so we were covering the hukilau extensively. And of course, I live 15 minutes from the Mai Kai, so.
Oh man.
So my extensive research that I was posting on Tiki Central, you know, Tiki Central was the place.
It was the place.
We were kind of gathering there and discussing recipes, and one thing led to another, and I started posting them on the blog, and it just kind of snowballed from there, little by little. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna get serious here and post one recipe a week for an entire year.
Wow.
So I did 52 weeks of Mai Kai recipes, 2011 or 12. And I thought I'd be done with it. You know, that's it. You know, we're done. But you're never done. You kind of continue developing. And I was learning secrets and tricks and little nuances to the drinks every time I went in there. So it continues to evolve. This Black Magic recipe that we're going to try was recently tweaked yet again for the 4th or 5th time. Just because I discovered new things.
I think it's funny because I think we've known each other for probably almost 20 years probably, just because of Tiki Central, and I always say that I am no genius bartender. I'm basically a talk show host. I follow the directions on how to make a cocktail, but you have delved into the flavor profiles and gone, not that rum, but the blend of these rums, and it's really pretty incredible.
I didn't really start out that way. It just kind of developed. I'm not sure how to explain it. Yes, I have a palate for it, but... Yeah,
this is absolutely probably my favorite tiki cocktail, maybe next to the Ray's Mistake, but this is probably one of the top, well, at least the top 2. Let's make the Black Magic now. For this cocktail, we will be using limes, lemons, oranges, white grapefruit, vanilla syrup, angostura bitters, rich honey syrup, herbsaint, smith&cross traditional Jamaican rum, brugel Añejo rum, St. Elizabeth allspice dram, bacardi black, falernum, and chilled coffee. I need to make coffee. Chilled Colombian coffee and El Dorado 12.
Have you made this version?
I have not made this version, no.
Okay.
So what do we start off with?
I'm assuming you got everything close at hand there.
I do.
Start with the juices. There's 3 juices.
Okay.
This is sort of like, you're going with 1.25 ounces of orange, 1.25 ounces of lime, and 1.25 ounces of grapefruit, fresh, of course.
Okay.
People might notice this is like the trinity of juices that you'll find in the rum barrel at the Mai Kai. You'll find the same 3 juices in the mutiny. It's a traditional combination that Don the Beachcomber used to use. The orange, well, actually all 3 juices obviously are fresh squeezed Florida juices, which are a little different than your California juices, but we don't want to get too deep into the weeds there. From what I've heard, the Florida juices are a little sweeter and richer.
Okay.
Your guys have more of a tart or bitter citrus overall flavor profile. And I've heard that from people who come to the Mai Kai from the West Coast, and they say, these drinks, they're a little on the sweet side.
Oh.
I think you guys are used to the less sweet juices.
So you're saying, let's see, 1.25 ounces of orange juice, 1.25 ounces of lime juice. Sorry, I should have pre-squeezed this stuff, but you know how important it is to have that stuff as fresh as possible.
Right.
There's my lime juice. And what was the last one? Grapefruit juice, right?
Grapefruit, right. White if you have it.
I do. I got a neighbor right here that has a tree.
Yep, we're in season here.
Don't tell him I'm plucking them off the trees.
When we're not in season, they do use red, but again, it's a red pulpy grapefruit from Florida that's a little bitter and tart. So.
Sure. Okay, there's 1 ounce there. And 1/4. So there is 1.25 ounces of grapefruit juice. And folks, Mr. Hayward here figured this out himself. So, like, what? I have enough trouble just following the recipes from Trader Vic or...
It's an educated guess, Well, I arrived at the 1.25 ounces because, there's an 1.25 ounces jigger, and it seems to work. When I kind of reverse engineered this drink, I figured out it's 10 ounces of liquid because of the size of the glass. It's the same size as the rum barrel. Right. When they run out of these snifters, you'll see the drink served in a rum barrel mug.
Oh, okay.
It's the equivalent ounces, so you kind of work off of that.
You're like a mad scientist, man, I tell you. Okay, so what's next?
Honey mix.
I made the honey mix earlier, and it's the rich honey mix.
Yep.
Okay, so folks, that means 2 parts honey to 1 part sugar. How much do we need here?
3/4.
3/4 of an ounce of rich honey mix. Okay, kind of just got that all over the place.
We're going with the cheapest ingredients first in case we mess up. That's another old trick. Now you got your coffee, the signature element in the Black Magic. Chilled.
Yes, it is chilled, and it is Colombian.
Some people like cold brew, but cold brew tends to be not as bitter. We really need a bold, bitter coffee.
Okay.
You want to go with 1.5 ounces.
Okay, so kind of a lot of coffee in this.
Yeah.
And it is a coffee-forward cocktail, but not in an aggressive way. Like you taste it back there, but you don't go, dude, I'm drinking coffee. It's like a hint. Okay.
When you tell people there's coffee in this, some people are taken aback that don't know the.
Yeah, they get freaked out, huh?
They love it once they taste it. Once you get that part done, now you're on to the rums.
Okay.
Start with 1 ounce of, let's call it a Spanish-style cold rum.
Okay. So we have this brugel Añejo. This is what you said that you think they serve at the Mai Kai.
I pretty much use the same. I've seen it up there on the shelf in the back bar.
Yep.
There are several. They use some other gold rums, but it's in this drink as a sort of like a backbone rum.
Okay, and it's just 1 ounce?
Just 1 ounce.
Okay.
We're also going to go with 1 ounce of black rum, and that kind of falls in line with the theme of the drink. You need a little dark rum in there. Bacardi Black?
Yep.
Cool. That's, again, likely what the Mai Kai uses. I've seen them use Bacardi Black. They also use something called Ron Carlos Black.
Okay. And it's kind of odd because most people think that Bacardi is kind of a junky rum or mass-produced, not a very delicate rum, but it's got its place, right?
This is the place for it, exactly. We're looking to add a little more of that dark rum flavor into the cocktail.
Just 1 ounce?
Yeah, just 1 ounce. You could use a Gosling's Black Seal if that's all you had. It's
sure
overpowering sometimes. I'd maybe cut back to like 3/4 of Gosling's or something.
Okay. So 1 ounce of Bacardi Black.
And then the third rum is a dark Jamaican rum. And if you don't have the Mai Kai blend handy, which I'm sure you don't, what are you using?
This is smith&cross here.
So you can do a blend of smith&cross, and do you have the demerara to blend with it?
Is it the El Dorado 12?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
This is the secret. It's not so secret. It's on the blog. It's a substitution to make 2 rums into 1.
Right.
Comes close in flavor to this Kohala Bay.
Oh, you have a bottle of that.
What the Mai Kai used to use for decades.
Wow.
This is a full bottle I'm hanging on to for the apocalypse.
So how are we gonna make this blend?
Let's see. We're going with 1.5 ounces total. So you probably do 3/4 of each.
Okay.
I use it a lot, so I mix it up in a separate bottle. Just keep it around.
Okay. What do you think about corks?
In general, they're okay.
Okay, so 3/4 ounce?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I like doing this to pop that thing back on there. And then 3/4, ooh, another cork.
This is the high-end version of a Kohala Bay. Kohala Bay was a cheap rum. It was made by Ray and Nephew. It's a funky kind of unaged mixing rum, but these 2 rums obviously are higher priced, so you really get a good flavor in using these rums. Cool. There's some other substitutes on the blog that I recommend that are a little bit more economical, and the Mai Kai does a blend themselves using some less expensive rums too. So you have choices here. There's just no one rum that really replaces Kohala Bay.
Okay, what are we on to now?
The rums are done. Let's throw in a couple of dashes of angostura.
Okay, 2?
If you're using a small bottle, I'd throw like 3.
3?
3, yeah. I'll use the big bottle, and it's a little heavier on the dash.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
If you've got some Dawn spices already mixed, we could do that, or you could just do allspice dram.
So I have cinnamon syrup, and I have allspice, and I have vanilla syrup.
We're only doing a teaspoon, so you might as well just do the allspice.
Oh, okay. There's not a huge difference?
No, not really. Doing the Dawn spices, you're going to get vanilla and allspice together, so 1/2 teaspoon of each.
Oh, okay. Well, should I do that? I have vanilla.
If you got a 1/2 teaspoon, you could do that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want the allspice to overpower. Dawn spices is an old traditional Dawn the Beachcomber ingredient, obviously, that is used in a lot of drinks. And I like to use it in Mai Kai drinks. I'm not saying the Mai Kai does that. They probably use a different allspice blend of their own. I know they don't use straight up St. Elizabeth. I know that.
So that's 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla syrup and 1/2 teaspoon of allspice.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, you want to pour this over something that's not the drink, so you don't accidentally pour a ton of allspice into your cocktail you're making.
Last but not least, and this is the latest addition I've added to the drink. If you're at the Mai Kai maybe 5 years ago, you probably did not taste this ingredient. It was recently brought back from the dead. It's called number 4. I'm sorry, number 7. There's two secret mixes, number 4 and number 7.
Yeah, Mariana.
Magic uses number 7. From what I've been able to ascertain, number 7 is a mix including falernum and anise. So I like to use herbsaint because it's not as powerful as Pernod. Do you have herbsaint?
Certainly do.
My recipe calls for a 1/2 ounce of the mix.
Wait, how much?
A 1/2 ounce of the mix, but since you haven't made the mix, you can just go with a 1/2 ounce of the falernum, and then we're going to throw in a dash or 2 of the herbsaint.
Okay, 1/2 ounce of falernum.
What kind of falernum?
This is homemade falernum.
Perfect. You kind of want a non-alcoholic version, which is what the Mai Kai uses. I like to use B Brothers is pretty much what they use. It's an old formula that kind of duplicates the Dawn the Beachcomber.
Okay. Okay, so just 1/2 ounce?
1/2 ounce. And then if you've got an eyedropper or something, you can drop in like some of that herbsaint.
I have an eyedropper, but I don't have it here. How about 1/8 of a teaspoon?
Yeah, 1/8 of a teaspoon's fine.
Okay. Herbsaint can like overpower a whole cocktail real quick, can it?
What I do is I pre-make the number 7, and I have it in a little bottle here because it's in 4 or 5 of the Mai Kai drinks. This is just, I think it's 4 ounces of falernum and a teaspoon of herbsaint.
Oh, okay.
Mix it up. There's actually a 3rd element in there that I haven't revealed yet that I'll be revealing at some point.
Oh, you know what it is? You're holding out on us.
It took me years to figure it out. I'm holding out till like the right time. It's going to be announced soon. So now we're done.
Oh, we're done.
We're done with the build. Now you need a hell of a lot of crushed ice.
I have a hell of a lot of Sonic ice.
Perfect. I usually blend it with like 2 full cups if you're gonna put it into a snifter.
Yeah, I am.
And then blend it. And then you'll probably need a little more ice in the snifter, but not much.
Gotcha. And for how long?
I'd say 8 to 10 seconds. That's a big drink and you want to get nice and frothy.
Okay. All right, there it is. The black magic.
Then you can top it off with some more ice. Fill that puppy up.
Now tell me about the garnish.
The only garnish is a spiral of lemon, which I do not have. I neglected to stock my fruit this week, so there you go.
So what's the best way to do this? With a peeler?
Yeah.
Okay. I always thought it was a really weird garnish. It's such a weird hangy thing.
Well, here's you want to know my theory?
Yeah, totally do.
Merely for identification purposes.
Oh.
When you see the Black Magic and the Mutiny sitting there on the bar next to each other, they look identical.
Yeah.
And when the bar is moving dozens, if not hundreds of drinks out a window into the dining room and into the Molokai bar, waitresses are picking up drinks. You have to know which drink is which.
Right.
The garnish is going to distinguish one from the other. I sometimes will use a grapefruit's fine.
Yeah, it's odd to me that they would use something that's not already in the cocktail.
Right. I don't think it's there for that reason. I think it's simply there for, oh, there's the Black Magic. We can get it to table A or B.
Yeah, sure. Do we know what year this is from?
As a matter of fact, this is the original Mai Kai menu.
No way.
There's the Black Magic. How much is it? $2.
$2.
And you'll see there's no garnish in this original photo because that's before the Mutiny existed. The Mutiny wasn't created till several years later.
Okay, that makes sense.
There was no need to have a garnish on the drink to differentiate it from another drink. That's my theory. So here's the current menu. So here you have, in the current menu, you have the Black Magic up here, Mutiny over here.
Okay.
And then, of course, over the years, they added the hukilau, a third drink in the same glass. But the hukilau is a little different color. It's more of a reddish color, so you can kind of figure out which that one is.
So from 1956 is the Mai Kai, the Black Magic. Cheers.
Cheers.
Man, that brings you right back to the Molokai bar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
It's Mariano Liquidini, the original mixologist, who came from Don, the beachcomber. That's why he knew all the tricks and created this on his own. This is his original creation.
Thank you so much for deciphering this cocktail. Because the first time I ever played the hukilau with the Hula Girls, I remember ordering this thing and going, oh my God, I couldn't wait to get back there to have another one.
It took a long time, but there's various versions on my blog. Previous versions are just as good as this one. They're just a little different.
Sure.
I was using cinnamon syrup for a while until I realized they don't use cinnamon syrup at the Mai Kai, but they're all good.
Okay. So folks, please remember to go and visit Mr. Hurricane Hayward's blog, theatomicgrog.com. It has all kinds of interesting information about cocktails and the Mai Kai and really the whole tiki scene. It's really great. It's a great resource.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So I want to ask you, obviously the Mai Kai means a lot to a lot of people, but it especially, I would imagine, means a lot to you. How did you take the news when you had heard that the Mai Kai is looking to sell?
It was not out of left field and unexpected if you live here and kind of have been going and know what's going on. Back in October, when the storm hit that really caused a lot of damage to the back of the house, we kind of knew that happened, and we had a big Halloween party out in the parking lot while they were assessing the damage, and there was a story in the newspaper, and the consensus was this is serious damage. The Mai Kai is going to be closed for a while. So right then and there, we knew, something's going to happen, and we're just hoping for the best. Now, we had an anniversary party at the end of the year, again in the parking lot. Great party. They were making cocktails in the Molokai. You can only get a handful of drinks, but it was still Mai Kai drinks, served to you by Mai Kai servers, and it was a nice time. Still, that was December 28th. At that point, I was talking to people, and we kind of knew they were kind of putting feelers out, that they were looking at options. There was a story in the paper about, possible partners.
Oh, wow.
Looking for investment partners to help the burden of this renovation, which is extensive. You know, the kitchen is the entire back of the building. It's not the historic early part of the building. It was added in the 1970s, but
Sure.
nevertheless, it's an old, part of the building that came crashing down when the roof collapsed. So this is a massive endeavor to replace a kitchen in a restaurant this large and this old. So the fact that they wanted to take on partners is not surprising either. The surprising part is it came out in a huge statement to the public from a company that is helping them.
Right.
And people have to keep in mind that this company that's helping sell the Mai Kai or find partners for the Mai Kai is hired by the Mai Kai. They're not evil. They're not an interloper coming in to destroy the Mai Kai. They're actually here for a good purpose, and they want to keep the Mai Kai. That's the thing. I want to talk people down off the ledge, because there's a lot of people out there that are kind of losing it a little bit. I want to urge people to be patient, let this play out, see if they can find the proper partners, and what they want to do is keep it, if not the way it is, as close to the way it is as they can. That's the goal. That's what I've been told by management.
So how can we as fans of the Mai Kai do our part to help? Is there anything that we can do?
It's a tricky situation, because there's a lot of people who want to do constructive things, like, oh, can we start a GoFundMe? Can we start a picket line in front of the Mai Kai or something along
Picket line.
I don't think those kinds of things are necessary, because everybody knows the Mai Kai is what it is. It's already well known. They don't need the money in that way. They need a partner with deep pockets. What they can do, and what we've been doing, is just show your love for the Mai Kai. Post photos on social media. Tell everybody that you love the Mai Kai and you want it to stay the way it is. Sure. There's a new group on Facebook called Save the Mai Kai. It has over 1,000 members within 3 days. Right there, that shows a potential buyer, hey, this place has loyal fans who are going to form a group and become this active in this short amount of time. I would encourage people to just do that. There's a petition, there's other things that I don't know will have an effect necessarily, because like I said, the sale is in professional hands and the professionals know what they're doing. There's been newspaper articles that have been written, and the president of the company who's handling the transaction is very, very aware of the history of the Mai Kai, and he wants to preserve it. So I don't think we need to convince anybody at that level. They know what they're doing. We just need to, hope that they find the right person. And by spreading the word on social media, maybe that right person will turn up. I try to post as much as possible. There might be a possible investor out there anywhere in the world who may not be aware that the Mai Kai is for sale. We just need to let everybody know that the Mai Kai is for sale. Don't be ashamed of it. Just tell people, hey, the Mai Kai is for sale. Do you happen to know a millionaire? And
that's why I wanted to bring you on the show, is because we've been talking about having you on the show to do this cocktail anyway, but especially now, I really want to help get the word out that if there is anybody out there with $7+ million burning a hole in their pocket, let's buy the Mai Kai, please.
Especially out there on the West Coast, where I don't have as many contacts as you do in the industry.
Yeah, the tough thing right now is that they're all of my bar owner friends are all in a tough spot, so nobody seems like they have any money.
Tough spot. And the other thing that's scaring people is in a lot of these articles, and if you go to the Mai Kai's website and click on the announcement, you'll see the full announcement. But also read the Mai Kai's announcement too. The Mai Kai's been very clear and upfront that they want to keep it. They want the Mai Kai to survive.
Yeah.
Said we're working towards continuing the Mai Kai legacy with our intellectual property and future business possibilities. So they're being a little bit open-minded about, is the future maybe a smaller Mai Kai? Is the future maybe a Mai Kai in a different location? Those kinds of things are sacrilegious to a lot of us. If it means the Mai Kai survives, it means the Mai Kai survives. But we want to see the best scenario for everybody, and hopefully keeping it the way it is or where it is the best scenario. We just need the right people to come forward to help.
Right. And obviously we want the best for the family involved and the owners and all of the staff there. But it's hard not to be a little bit greedy and say, yeah, but I want it just how it is for myself, because I really want to go back there so badly.
And the Mai Kai family wants to stay involved. The Thornton family, who
that's good.
Founded the bar. We're now approaching the third generation. Will be taking over in the next decade or so.
Okay.
It's already past the second. The second generation is still running the bar. The son and daughter of the original owner and his widow is still involved with the show. But there's yet another generation that wants to stay involved. It's just they need help. They can't continue to run this massive business with a potential hurricane bearing down on them, or who knows what the next thing will be. So you need a solid business partner, and I think we'll find it. They've already had several inquiries, and
well, that's super exciting. Nobody wants to see what happened to the kahiki happened to the Mai Kai, which was essentially leveled and turned into a Walgreens or something. And like, who cares, dude? There's a million Walgreens.
I don't think the comparison is that fair. I don't know all the details on the kahiki.
Yeah.
The Mai Kai is being very upfront with this. Again, like I said, they've hired this company, and the company is very public about what they're doing. They're not looking for Walgreens to buy,
Right.
There's been stories and things printed where it says, oh, the property could be subdivided and they could build this or that. And, that's just the way the business works. They have a big parking lot. Maybe they build something on the parking lot and keep the Mai Kai. Who knows? There's so many different scenarios that could happen. I'm not going to get hung up on all that. I just want to see the right person with the right amount of money come to the table.
So let me ask you, what does the Mai Kai, what does it mean to you?
It's, to me, well, personally, I was married there to my wife 10 years ago.
Wow.
It's where I've been to enjoyed the hukilau for 10 plus years and met you and dozens, hundreds of people from all over the world flock to the Mai Kai to enjoy it, and it makes me proud to be a local, to have that piece of history here. And then also as a local, it's kind of, we're kind of spoiled. It can go that, not now obviously, but when it's open, we can go down there on a Wednesday night when it's half empty and kind of just hang out and chill and enjoy it for ourselves.
I do consider you the ambassador of the Mai Kai. You and Swanky, really.
I tip my hat to Tim.
yeah, totally. And I probably had some of the best times of my life at the Mai Kai performing with the band. And it's where I first met Lucky Monroe, my buddy, who he pounded a nail into his nose with a rum barrel. And then just a ton of bands that have played there, and some of the best times, really. I hope we don't lose it.
And we're just a 10-year snapshot of the 65-year history of the Mai Kai. Imagine all the other good times that thousands and thousands of other people have had there. So I think the legacy is so strong that I think it's gonna survive.
Well, those are some hopeful words, and it helps. I think it helps to hear that. I lost Sam's Seafood 3 times now. Sam's Seafood became Kona, and then Kona was a mess, and Kona became Don the Beachcomber and lasted for 10 years, and then we lost that. So I lost Sam's Seafood 3 times, and when you're into old stuff, there's a lot of hurt that goes on.
Right.
I don't want to see that happen with the Mai Kai,
and that's the other difference. I don't know if people are reading the nuances in this proposition. Is the Mai Kai is not going to just sell the building to somebody and let them come in and change the name to Mai Tai or something. Make it something else. A lot invested in what they call intellectual property, and their intellectual property is everything from the mystery girl to the mystery drink to the Polynesian Islander to review to all the cocktail recipes to all the hand-carved tipis. That they consider the Mai Kai. That's going to survive, and they're leveraging that in the sale. So they're not looking to just dump it. That's part of the sale, and whoever buys it gets that.
Yeah, and I think for all of us who are fans of traditional tiki, I think we realize that this is a time capsule of the perfect mid-century tiki experience, all encompassed with the cocktails, the way that they still bring the cocktails out. There's no bartenders in the bar making the cocktails in front of you. They're all hidden in a back, like a cocktail kitchen, and they're served through a window. And then all of the waitress and the servers are all these gorgeous women wearing sarongs and bikinis, and it's just such. And the floor show is incredible. It's just such a special place.
We love the fact that it was kept pristine for all those years, and the family knew that. The family knew to keep it the way it was, and I think that'll actually help them in this instance. The fact that it's vintage will actually help the sale and keep this intellectual property alive. If they had changed over the years and it had become like, you know, like Sam's Seafood, and, you know, changing various times over the years, it wouldn't be the same. The fact that it's still, you can still drink a 1956 Black Magic with the same recipe, that's what makes it special.
I gotta tell you, man, this is downright incredible. This is an incredible cocktail. Make this one at home. It's so good. And then go visit Hurricane Hayward's site, the Atomic Grog. Everything is so good. And he breaks down a lot of the Mai Kai drinks. Maybe we can bring you back on and do some more of these Mai Kai drinks if you're into it.
Sure. This might be sacrilegious. This is actually not my favorite drink. I have like 10 or 15 others that I like just as good, if not better, than this one.
This isn't your favorite one?
Actually, I like the Mutiny better than the Black Magic. The Mutiny is my favorite of the two, these two coffee drinks.
So maybe we got to come back and do the Mutiny next time.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Okay.
I had the Mutiny at the.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just a little tweak, a little couple tweaks, same concept, but
yeah. Do you have a particular memory that stands out about the Mai Kai, like something that really sticks in your mind? Say other than your wedding.
Other than the wedding,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just a lot of little things. You know, the first time I got up on stage to do a presentation, for you, it was probably the first time you cranked up your guitar and started playing. And
absolutely. And seeing that creepy dude in the window, like standing there, like staring. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I think it's those moments.
The little moments. It's sort of like, you know, the first time I met Beach Bum Berry there, the first time I met Mark and Kate there, all those kinds of memories. You know. Yeah,
that's really cool. Well, I guess that's it, unless you have anything else that you want to say.
No, I just want people to, you know, keep your hopes up. There's no reason for doom and gloom at this point. I think after less than a week of the Mai Kai being for sale, that there's been such an outpouring of people. I think that's a good thing. I just think people are scared, and you know, even the Mai Kai posted something on Instagram, and they said we're really excited about the future, and I posted, I wouldn't say excited is the word that I would use, and then a couple people came after me, and I was like, no, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just saying nervous, like uneasy, just concerned. Like we want the best for them, but we also really want an American institution, a historical part of our culture to survive. And it is on the National Historic Register. It is a historic site, so that's part of the equation as well. I know that didn't save the kahiki, but in this instance, I think it's a positive that'll work to the Mai Kai's advantage, and we're just kind of hanging out, waiting to see what happens. But in the meantime, like I said, just kind of show your love and support, and do your best to stay positive. And with that, folks, thank you so much for joining us on Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour with Mr. Jim Hurricane Hayward from the Atomic Grog blog. So go visit him there. Thank you to High Tide Recordings for setting up this Zoom call for us. We really appreciate it. And we will see you in the next cocktail video. Aloha. Really, Maluna. If you don't know what the Mai Kai is, the Mai Kai was built. When was the Mai Kai built? I think it's 55. Permanently closed. That is so gnarly to see on their Wikipedia thing here. The Mai Kai was opened in 1956. There goes a car. And Mariano Liquidini, who was the bartender, and Mariano Liquidini was the bartender there in 1956. Mariano Liquidini was the bartender there at the... Come on, man. This is all messed up now. My fruit assortment is all messed up. This giant grapefruit. Okay, get back in your spot. Angostura bigger. Rich honey syrup, which is 2 parts honey to 1 part Añejo superior brugel Añejo. So the big... I need to chill that coffee. From the Atomic Grog vlog? No. From the Atomic Grog... What is it? It is the Atomic Grog vlog. Friends of mine ended up with that swordfish.
And so we featured them on last week's episode, and it was kind of a touching thing at the very end. My steel guitar player and I playing a song called Teardrop. It was the last night that Dawn the Beachcomber was open. And so that's what scares me so much about losing the Mai Kais. I've lost them before, the Bahuka also. And they gutted the Bahuka and it turned into a sushi restaurant, and I think it closed shortly after. And it was like, what did you do?
I wish I had a crystal ball and could tell you what's going to happen. But I just think there's so many different scenarios that could happen. The positive scenarios outweigh the negative to me. There's too many positive scenarios that could happen.
There's so much art. I always tell people that it's like 10 times the size of Dawn the Beachcomber, Sam Seafood, with like 100 times the art. Like everywhere you look, it's the perfect tiki experience where you go, dude, you can't see everything the first time or the fifth time.
They have art in a warehouse. It's not even on display. Wow. And then they have the owners, the Thornton brothers, had a collection of oceanic art that's now in a museum that used to be on display there. I think it's in their alma mater.
Right.
There was a museum show at the Fort Lauderdale Museum of Art with all their artifacts.
Wow.
So all that stuff was originally at the Mai Kai, and now it's in a museum. That's how much art and artifacts they had there. A lot of those tikis outside are concrete, but they're molded from the original tikis. So they have these molds that the original owner was smart enough to say, wait a minute, these tikis are wood. They're going to disintegrate. Let's have molds made. So
my God.
They have molds of all the original tikis, and they just recast them in concrete, all the ones out in the garden. They get wet. And so that's why they look the same, because they're concrete.
Especially in Florida.
Some of the big wooden ones, though, I don't know how much longer those old Barney Wests are going to last,
Yeah. Well, what about that creepy guy that stands outside of the Molokai bar?
Yeah, that's probably 40, 50 years old, too. Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like he's doing all right, though. Well, that's good news then, It's so funny to watch on Facebook, people going like, well, don't worry, I'm playing the lottery. And it's like, okay, that's not a serious thing to say. Like, I'm playing the lottery. And then other people are like, don't worry, I've just like private messaged Elon Musk. And it's like, oh, okay, hopefully, like that'd be great. But
I don't know if they even want the highest bidder. They want somebody hands-on that appreciates the Mai Kai and wants it to continue,
Right. Well, and like I said, hopefully this has some little impact, to get the message out, and you can only do what you can do. Well, I gotta be honest, I'm definitely no longer sober from this one cocktail.
I'm still not 100% happy with it, as far as it doesn't taste like the actual Black Magic, but it's as close as I'm gonna get, I think.
Dude, it's so close. I need you to move out to Hollywood so you can figure out the what's it called, the raised mistake.
Yeah, I would love to try some of those CPT drinks and just hang out there every night.
All right, this is normally where we would turn off the cameras and then, I don't know, wait till next week for the next show, but that is so damned good that I have to make another one right now. And I wrote down the recipe on my You've Goat This pad that my coworker gave me. I've got it. It's like a joke. So if we can remember what Hurricane Hayward said about ingredients, he said 1.5 ounces of lime juice. Let me see if I can squeeze a little bit more out of this one. Oh, there it is. 1.5. Oh, no, it was 1.25. See, damn it, now I've got too much. Okay, if I pour 1.5 in there, but I leave 1/4 ounce out, then that'll be 1.25. I have legitimately had the best times in my life at the Mai Kai. It's incredible. It's incredible. Like, it's the best. If you're into tiki, dude, Bamboo Ben used to always tell me, he'd always go, I've never seen tiki until you've been to the Mai Kai. And I was like, what are you talking about, dude? We got Sam's Seafood here. I've been to the Bahuka. I've been to Trader Vic's. He's like, dude, none of that compares. none of it compares. The Mai Kai is really, really special. And I really hope that it doesn't go away. But, you know, after a certain amount of time in tiki and mid-century stuff, you kind of get used to disappointment because the mainstream isn't as crazy about this stuff as we are. Okay, I'm making a mess. 1¼ ounces of orange juice, lime juice, and white grapefruit. So let's do the white grapefruit now. And whoa, God, I'm getting into my esophagus. And 1/4 ounces right there. Now I'm telling you, one black magic already has me 2. We'll see what happens. 3/4 ounce of rich, excuse me, sir. 3/4 ounces of rich honey syrup. Oh, that is very sticky. In his blog, Hurricane Hayward, Jim Hayward says it's very important that you use Colombian coffee. There's a flavor profile. Just like you wouldn't use a dark Jamaican, just like you wouldn't use like a light rum for dark and stormy. It would be a light and stormy. Stupid joke. Okay, so 1½ ounces. Dude, this is such a mess. All of my bottles are gonna be sticky. Okay, hold on. 1½ ounces of dark Jamaican rum. Oh, 1 ounce of Bacardi Black. Okay, I remember that. And this really smells good for a Bacardi. It really does. I like to see Bacardi used in tiki drinks sometimes because everybody's so snobby about their rums. And like, there's a place for everything, you know? 1 ounce of the gold rum. So this is like, dude, what's up with this bottle? How rad is this bottle? The only thing that can make this bottle better, a cork. Here I am spinning this thing off like some kind of sucker. 1 ounce of this stuff. This is such a, like, it's so annoying because I had like a real nice tight cocktail show presentation all set up or whatever. And now look at, we're doing a whole nother segment to this thing. This is why these videos take me forever to edit. And then 1½ ounces of the Mai Kai blend. Hurricane Hayward says that it is 3/4 ounce of smith&cross. God, that smells good. It's like a funky Jamaican rum. And then another 3/4 ounce of this dorado demerara 12-year. And so this is supposed to emulate Kohala Bay rum. Okay. God, wait. 1½ ounces plus 1 ounce plus 1 ounce. 4½ ounces. And I already had 4½ ounces. Okay. What did we do after that? We did 2 dashes of bitters. 1, 2, 3 dashes, right? And then Mariana's mix number 7. Okay. I don't know where the video stopped. So I know it stopped recording while I was going. We did herbsaint, some other stuff. The vanilla, what was it? 1/4 ounce? Yeah, Mariana's mix, right? It was a 1/4 ounce of vanilla syrup, which smells incredible. Ooh, that's good. Shouldn't do that though. That's very unhygienic. Oh, it was that, and then it was supposed to be falernum, but we're out of falernum, so I don't know. This is not a perfect black magic, but I'm like a crack addict right now. Should we dump that ice? No, dude. Normally you would dump the ice because it's already kind of gotten watery, but whatever. We already don't have falernum in this drink. We're gonna leave this. We're gonna add some ice to this. Even this ice is melty in here. This version of the black magic is a total mess, but like, whatever. Okay. I can honestly say I don't think I've been this drunk on the show before. Like, and ladies and gentlemen, from 1956, the Mai Kai in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the black magic. Ta-da. What a mess, dude. Tiki drinks are such a mess. Everything about tiki drinks is a pain in the ass. Total. Oh, there's a lime down here. All right. Excuse me. Pull the exposure down a little bit. Okay. You know what I noticed? Oh, by the way, this decanter. It's from the Mai Kai. Check that out. Don Q, El Dorado, Puerto Rican rum. says Mai Kai here. That's museum putty, so this thing doesn't fall off, but it says Mai Kai decanter. Rad, huh? Mai Kai. Oh, maybe like this. Mai Kai. Let's put him over here. Okay. You know what I noticed that I did wrong, though, about the Garnish? When I was talking to Hurricane Hayward, I noticed, dude, the Garnish it's weird. And it doesn't look all pretty and full like this. They literally, I swear, they go in. Wait, hold on. Stop wiggling around. It's like they go in and cut some kind of weird, cut my fingertips off. It's like they go in and cut some weird stringy thing. Like that's the Garnish right here. Weird, right? Just some weird, thin, hangy, ta-da. Isn't that bizarre? All right, so this is a black magic with no falernum. Let's see what it tastes like. It's still incredibly delicious. Wow. Oh my God, it's so good. You can taste that the complexity isn't quite there though. There's like a little thing that's missing. But I don't think I talked about like the flavor profile. There's a coffee acidity to it, but then you also get the fruit flavors. The rum is almost non-existent. Well, you taste that there's rum, but you don't go, oof, rum. Everything serves its purpose. And Mariano Liquidini, the Houdini of liquids, Liquidini. Mariano Liquidini was a genius that came from the Don the Beachcomber education system. Or what? Like they always say, was it Don Beach that was a genius with cocktails, or was it his Filipino bartenders? So I don't know. I tend to think that it was probably the people supporting him that were really good with the cocktails. But Mariano Liquidini brought that way of thinking from Don the Beachcomber to the Mai Kai in 1956. This definitely tastes like a Don the Beachcomber cocktail, but something about it is just so radically different. Well, it's probably the coffee, to be honest, but what a drink. Dude, this is such an incredible cocktail. There's so much that goes into it, but make this at home. It's really good. Oh, and this one isn't even perfect. And this one isn't even perfect, and it's still so good. I do want to thank High Tide Recordings for allowing me to use their Zoom account to make this recording thing happen through Zoom. Go to their website, buy some stuff. They have incredible glassware, so many great records, including a band called the Hula Girls, who is just the best band. Oh, wait. Ooh, bonus. Jeez, what the? Dude, I don't think I've been this drunk on the show in like forever. These things will knock you out. I think I had like 2 or 3 of them last time I was at the Mai Kai, after we performed, of course, because I've learned that rum drinks and guitar are a horrible, horrible foe. I've learned that rum drinks and guitars are just the worst enemies. They hate each other. They hate each other. But rum drinks in your backyard, totally cool. God, it's freezing out here though. Oh, can you see this? I don't know if you can see this or not, but if you can see this, I don't want to knock dirt into my, can you see that barrel there? There, that barrel, it's from the Bahuka. Remember the Bahuka in Rosemead? It's a sad tale of another one of those tiki bars that was incredible, that somebody bought it. It was for sale. Somebody bought it. It had like, dude, 100 fish tanks in it. So rad. Somebody bought it. They turned it into a sushi restaurant, but they gutted the whole place. And you just go, you gutted that? Why would you gut that? Why would you get rid of all that? They wanted to go opposite of the Bahuka, like super modern. I really hope that doesn't happen to the Mai Kai, but the Mai Kai is, like, if you're buying the Mai Kai, it'd be like buying a 54 Chevy and trying to turn it into like a Tesla. Like, it's just they're different things. But that's sad. It's a sad reminder of what can happen. And the Hula Girls played the Bahuka a bunch. We were actually on Canadian TV. Canadian Food Channel or something. Yeah, I don't know. Dude, I'm wasted. Like 4.5 ounces of rum in each one of these things? Look at this guy. I literally have no room for any more tiki stuff. That this incredible Papua New Guinea tiki just kind of like leans against things. I don't know. I need a bigger bar. Also, this weird thing from Florida, incidentally, used to have a brush on the side. It was a shoe brush. Tiki shoe brush. Huh? Just goes to show you the proliferation of tiki into American culture in the 1950s and 60s. Pretty rad. Pretty weird. All right, I guess I should clean all this stuff up. Good night, Irene. I dated a girl named Irene once. In case you care.